thank you for inviting me to this platform. I'm very much excited, and especially to be with this group. That in that way, it's fantastic. Now, coming up with this topic today, how to implement it, but surely it will be more concerned with the 11th and 12th aspect, because you see that in 11th we have this topic, and in 12th also we have it. Right now this year we have the rationalized one with one content reduced out. So in the whole area today I will be focusing on an aspect of class 11 on the organizations, the three, or that particularly to the three ones: Special Olympics, Paralympics, and Deaf Olympics. And before that I would also like to connect with one aspect of class 12, that is disability and disorder, because that will set a foundation to understand this concept. Yeah. So the major, let's start. In fact, rather, because most of you are so experienced, rather I would like to listen how you differentiate this disorder and disability, because this is a very, these two terms, it's always having lot of debate and discussions. And I think once we understand this, the concept of Paralympics, Special Olympics, Deaf Olympics will be much easier to understand. So someone else want to add on to it?
The disability refers the consequences of impairment in terms of functional performance in activities. It means कि disability is when a child has an impairment and he is not able to perform. He is not able to perform in day-to-day life. So that is a disability.
Fantastic. Yeah. And disorder? You have nicely explained disability. It's absolutely, I agree with it, and most of us might agree again. Yeah. And how, but when it comes to disorder, how will you explain disorder? Contradictions are there. And this is what most of you have responded also. Disorder is a characteristic, whereas disability, as most of you have right said, it is the function. It is referring to the function. That is, when we talk about function, we talk about limitations or inability. But when we talk about disorder, it is more of a characteristic. And somebody said mental disorder, but it need not be mental always. It can be physical disorder. Even if you have a stomach problem, there can be an eating disorder also. There can be an attention disorder also. There can be an anxiety disorder also. And the most prominent, you can have a substance abuse disorder also, or addiction disorder. But these are the disorders. So it need not be confined only to mental aspect or the mental. It can be physical also. And this disorder, when we talk about, mostly these disorders can be retreated. Mostly it can be retreated. And in sports, especially in the sports for children with special needs, we find the disorders which have been elongated for a long time of time, and that have converted into a disability or the functional aspect, the functional problem. Okay, because even when you talk about disability, like most of teachers are right correctly mentioned, it is related to the function. Function can be any, even it is not just physical function, it can be even of the vision, it can be inability or disability of remembering, learning, or even it can be a social aspect also can be included into it. But this is covering so much of aspects and elements. How do we combine it out? As teachers, the best one is to refer to the United Nations Convention for Right of Person with Disability, which clearly says in disability, because we are talking about disability sports, long term, one I have highlighted in yellow, that is long term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment, which creates a barrier, which should create a, if it creates a barrier in full and effective participation, which is another important aspect. Now, what happens in sports, particularly for disability sports, various times we have so much of confusion whenever we watch the sports in TV or YouTube channels or live sports on disability. We see that, I mean, where is the disability? This athlete is looking quite fine. This athlete doesn't have seems to have any issues and concern. Why he is in a disability category? These type of confusions, general population always have it out, and many times students are not able to understand, or general population, general people are not able to understand, and even we have difficulty. If you ask me up before entering into this area of disability, I mean, we were also had a lot of confusion by seeing an athlete. "Oh, where is this disability? What disability?" Because the disability, we just understood that, okay, limitation, having a loss, impairment. We were just confined to impairment, but we need to move beyond that. And this is where the base, the crux is. Always just refer to WHO, which talks about the three dimensions of disability. If you understand this, if you understand these three dimensions of disability, I think next time whenever we watch a disability sport, either it is a Paralympics, Special Olympics, or Deaf Olympics, any other sport, or if you watch any athlete participating, we will be able to understand the issue, because the three aspects. The first one is the most common, which we understand, that is impairment. When we call impairment, that is loss. You may easily see that, okay, he doesn't have a leg, he doesn't have a hand, he doesn't have or there is a any other functional impairment is there. Functional loss, impairment is related to loss. It can be the memory memory and intellect loss also. So that is mostly visible. And but WHO, I'm again referring to the World Health Organization, which says that impairment is not just confined to limitation or loss of a function. It also says that disability includes activity limitations also. You will see there is no impairment actually, or there is no loss, either it is physical or mental or intellectual loss, but still there is an limitation in the ability to do some activity. For example, limitation in hearing, limitation in seeing anything. These are the few examples of activity limitation, which is also included a part of disability. And that is why in various sports, you may not see the impairment, but still the athlete is in Paralympics or Special Olympics or in Deaf Olympics because of the activity limitation. And that is why you see classifications and categorizations and divisionings are used in sports, because of the activity limitation. And the third one is again not prominent but very important part of the disability according to WHO is participation restriction. Now, WHO says that it's very interesting that the third aspect which it includes in disability is also those individuals who are not able to participate in the normal day-to-day life, or they are not able to adjust themselves into the social, existing social setup. This is again fantastic. One of the most common examples which you will be able to relate is, we call it dwarfism, short-heighted. Short-heighted is also a disability, and in particularly in Paralympics, you see that a badminton player is playing fantastic badminton. He has the leg, no impairment of the leg, no impairment of the hands, no spinal injury, and no other discomfort. But still, he has the participation restriction, that is having the height less than 130 centimeters, less than 130 centimeters for male, and 125 centimeters for female. They don't use the term dwarfism in Paralympics. They use short heightedness, because it is a disability not because of the impairment, because it is creating a participation restriction for the individual to lead a day-to-day normal life. Either it is a table desk job, either it is boarding transport, either it is doing any mobility task in his day-to-day life, or even of the social acceptance and problem. So these are the three aspects which creates a base. And when we talk about any disability sports, we should not confine themselves just with impairment. All the three aspects should be included, and it is included. And this is how, after understanding this, you discuss about any sports, you can easily relate it. Why the athlete is playing in disability sports? Why the athlete is in? Okay. So now onwards, you can look beyond impairment. You can also try to find, is there any activity limitations? He may be having an eyes, but he may be having a vision problem. He may be having a ear, but he may not be able to listen properly. That is this hearing problem of 50 decibels are included in Deaf Olympics. Either it is in normal disability PW Act it is 80, and but it is 50 here in Deaf Olympics, 50 decibels sound. So those who have problem beyond that have an activity limitation, and that is why they're included into it. So you will also see one more interesting part. I think many of you will be able to share many examples also. We see that he is visual impairment is there, but he is not visual. He can see. He can see. Why he is playing here? He can see. He is not blind. He is, so we need to understand there is. We understand it is not impairment, but he has an activity limitation. He may be having partial visibility or a vision loss, which is creating an activity limitation. Because of that, he is into disability category. So it is not that every time you see a sport, particularly Paralympics, which there are events for visually impaired. In a visually impaired, it need not be complete 100% loss. No, there are different classifications. So again, you don't next time don't get surprised. He is able to see, still he is participating. Yes, because he is able to see, but there is an activity limitation. Or in Deaf Olympics, you may also find people, he can listen. Yeah, he can listen. He's not 100%. He's not having 100% impairment, but he's having activity limitation. He may not be able to listen the complete sentence, or he may not be able to listen clearly. Okay, he may have a problem activity limitation in hearing. So again, he is able to participate. So next time, don't get surprised if you see an athlete with say whom you say that there is no impairment, but he is still playing. Understand? Yeah, there may be activity limitation. He may have a participation restrictions also. So these are the three aspects which create the crux, the core of disability sports also. And all the divisions which we're going to discuss it are based on this. I think if we understand these three terms, any component of any disability sports is easier to understand. And this also, that is why even the adaptive physical education, we always struggle to come up with a lot of definitions and all, but the three aspects are the crux for the definition of adaptive physical education also, which you're all teaching. Because designing a program, simple, designing a PE program for the people, not only for the having a complete loss or limitation, but also for all the three categories of disability. Okay, designing a program which is suitable and adaptable and modified for all three categories of disability with the general population. And this is the concept of adapted physical education. But when we read this concept, obviously everyone have gone through this concept, but when we apply it, actually the concept is of inclusion. But inclusion doesn't happen, because inclusion, particularly in sports, inclusion is, let's see how inclusion is. And I really want, by end of the session today, we'll spare some time, 5 to 10 minutes, and it is actually an education for me to listen from your experience how you can create an adapted physical education concept. Okay, how do let me first place it out. I have placed four pictures in front. One is exclusion, which we don't believe in. Every PE teacher don't believe in. Every teacher doesn't believe in exclusion. Okay. Now, when we don't believe in exclusion, that means we believe in inclusion. Surely, opposite. But practically, inclusion is not happening actually. You see how when we get a group of students who may have different disability and with the general population, we may try, but sometimes mostly not the segregation, but at least we try to integrate. Integration does happen because we may create a different station, we may create a different platform, we create a different opportunity for the special needs. But again, and we believe that it is inclusion. No, this is not inclusion. This is not inclusion. This is integration. This is integration. But inclusion is that everyone at one point of time for a one program, everyone is able to engage with their own pace, their own speed, their own ability, and everyone enjoys the activity. And this is challenging. Now, I'll just try to share three pictures. You just focus on the first picture. In this, the teacher is trying to create a platform for all the three to see equal platform, but giving this three equal platform is not helping it out because the person the child who is already having an advantage is still in an advantage, and the child who is in a disadvantaged position is still in a disadvantage. So we may be giving equal opportunity, but that equal opportunity is not the correct pathway because outcome is not being achieved. Outcome, we are not focusing on the what we are doing. We're focusing on the outcome. Out end of the day, he is still deprived, even we are giving equal opportunity to all. So then teacher thinks about it. Teacher thinks about it, and now teacher does the other way around, something good. You see at the second picture, the teacher creates more opportunity, facilitates for the deprived one to create an equal opportunity. And most of us will agree that second is a good one. Most of us may agree that second is a good one, fairly good one. But when we deal with special athletes, when we deal with special children, what happens is that end of the day, I'm talking again of outcome. They may be able to experience, but that experience is not satisfying. I'm again repeating the line. They may be able to experience that activity, that program, but that experience will not be satisfying because he is always getting a feeling that he is being empathized too much, sympathized too much. He is being giving
Getting
extra, exactly.
extra
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. So teacher does it for equality, to create equality by giving more, but that equality actually doesn't happen. Dissatisfaction will be from both the ends. Now look at the third picture.
Sir,
This is
sorry to disturb you. Beautiful example, sir. Beautiful example.
yeah, sir. This is where I just like to take your all teacher support also.
बहुत
The
बहुत
third
अच्छा
one is
example.
बहुत बढ़िया है, बहुत अच्छा सर, बहुत बढ़िया, गुड एग्जांपल।
inclusion. The third is about
बहुत ही अच्छा
inclusion.
लगा,
Don't
सुन के मजा आ
give
गया।
don't give him extra. You create a condition where all the three without extra support can enjoy the same activity. In this, again, the child is able to enjoy the activity, but along with the enjoyment, the outcome again, that satisfaction will be there, that he could enjoy the activity without the support